The Obama administration gave a free pass to Hezbollah and their drug trafficking and their money laundering operations, all in order to ensure that the Iranian nuclear deal would stay on track. Back with me now to discuss Gina and Dina Borelli. And Dina, I got to tell you, this is very upsetting because this was built on concrete information, concrete evidence, and it went back pretty far, long before the Obama administration entered into negotiations with Iran over this nuclear deal. And yet, political standing by their story.
I don't know if you're familiar with Ben Rhodes. He is former President Obama's National Deputy Security Advisor, whose only experience was majoring in creative writing. And you mentioned how the story was twisted and how Politico was standing by what they reported on. Ben Rhodes lied to Americans. He lied to reporters because he sent out this narrative and the media ran with it. And that is one of the reasons why Americans have a huge distrust in the media outlets, because no one knows what to believe anymore. But this puts Americans at risk. Right. You just had Dr. Mark Siegel on talking about the drug crisis in our country. How many lives were lost because of the drugs that came into this country because of this terrorist organization? And also, of course, that connection means our southern border more vulnerable than we thought, and obviously an easy way for Iran to also slip in operatives into our country as well. You know, Gina, here's the other thing. We watched as the Obama administration negotiated with Iran over this deal, and it was pretty obvious they wanted it done. It was obvious to observers, and it was obvious to Iran, which pushed for a stronger and stronger deal for themselves. Our nation bent over backwards. Our president at the time bent over backwards to make this happen. So is it far-fetched that some people in his administration may have slowed down this investigation?
It doesn't sound like it, Charles. We all know that Politico isn't exactly a right-leaning organization, and the way that they report it sounds like they're pretty sure. They have dozens of testimonies from different people, many of them close allies of Obama, people within his administration, people within his own Treasury Department testifying. There were testimonials that actually took place in court that were just overlooked. And when it all comes down, Charles, this reads like some sort of crazy conspiratorial spy novel that you can hardly believe is true, except that these are Obama's own people talking about it, Charles. And if this is true, we're talking about perhaps the most corrupt thing ever done in government. We're talking about dead soldiers, dead American soldiers that believe they were fighting for good things like fighting drugs and combating terror while this president was looking the other direction with his own agenda. We're talking about our own American children dying on American soil. We're even talking about the leader of chemical attacks against the Syrian people being protected so that Obama could do what? Get an Iranian nuke deal to be sure that Iran has nukes? This is outrageous, Charles. I cannot even believe what I've read in this. You know,
we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and say this was something that President Obama himself said to do. It's possible that it happened without his knowledge. We'll see. But it does feel like there's more than just smoke here. Yeah. That there's something legitimate, that they were thwarted, that our Department of Justice that their efforts were blocked in several ways, and it was deliberately blocked by someone within that administration, and all because they did want to get this Iranian deal done. Yeah, well, former President Obama had a lot of blockers when he was in the White House. And listen, I think this is all about trying to preserve his so-called legacy. And what about our ally, Israel? This really put Israel at risk as well. I mean, what does Iran want to do? They would rather wipe Israel off the face of the map. And they are now allowed to what? Produce nuclear weapons? We should also be concerned, too, about the Middle Eastern terror organizations operating in our hemisphere. We should be greatly concerned. Absolutely. I mean, listen, they hate our way of life. They want nothing but to kill us and really discourage Americans from living our free lives. Well, another reason to build a wall. Ladies, thank you all very much. Gina, it looks like you're going to have some fun somewhere tonight. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you.